DeWanna Bonner in the hot seat after saying what she stated last night in her press conference, man. I can't lie, it does look like some hypocrisy going on.
DeWanna Bonner continues to take shots at the Indiana Fever and the Fever fans. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
The audacity some people display is truly unbelievable. But DeWanna Bonner just set a whole new standard for delusion. In a stunning interview with ESPN, she boldly declared, "I wouldn't change a thing." This comes after she essentially finessed nearly $200,000 from the Indiana Fever and their devoted fan base. She signed a lucrative deal, collected paychecks for several months, then conveniently disappeared for 5 games, citing vague personal reasons before eventually orchestrating her exit. And now, she's comfortably settled in Phoenix, positioning herself as the victim, acting like she was the one who was wronged. Seriously, I wouldn't do anything differently. I think my journey is my journey, and I'm going to accept that. It carried me to where I am in Phoenix, and it happened that way for a reason. That's not just bold, it's absurd. That you essentially took that money from Indiana. DeWanna, you agreed to a deal, got paid handsomely, and then didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You stopped showing up, fed everyone excuses, and now you're rewriting history to cast yourself as the hero. The arrogance is staggering, especially when you remember how Fever fans embraced her with open arms and treated her like a queen, all while behind closed doors, she was plotting her departure. If you're as shocked and disappointed by this situation as the rest of us, hit that like button and flood the comments with "Investigate Bonner," because what's coming next will break down every step of this betrayal. She came to Indiana, signed a max contract, fully aware that Phoenix couldn't afford to match it. She secured $80,000 from the Fever and got the rest elsewhere. And then she has the nerve to say, "I wouldn't do anything differently." Really? She took $80,000 from Indiana and then left them hanging. What doesn't make sense is why she'd even agreed to do interviews where she paints herself as innocent when the truth is she cashed in on a team and then ghosted them. Bonner's remarks aren't just tone-deaf, they're a complete insult to every fan who invested their time, money, and emotional support into her. Sitting on national television, acting like she didn't do anything wrong, while still pocketing that paycheck is a reflection of questionable integrity. She was paid to play. She didn't show up. It's that simple. And let's not forget her performances, while in Indiana, weren't even up to standard. She was tossing up bricks from beyond the arc and missing layups like a player who had mentally checked out. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about professionalism and respect. Fans spend money on tickets, merchandise, and put their hearts into supporting a franchise under the assumption that players will do their jobs. Bonner's stint in Indiana wasn't some spiritual journey, it was a calculated money grab, and it left both fans and the organization feeling deceived and abandoned. "I wouldn't do anything differently. My journey is my journey." That's what she said. But let's be real, DeWanna, you didn't find yourself in Phoenix by fate. You forced your way out of Indiana. What makes this even more infuriating is when you begin to peel back the layers and look at the facts. This situation exposes a deeper problem with how professional contracts are being exploited, and how some athletes are skating by without being held accountable. Let's start with the most damning part: the huge gap between what DeWanna Bonner promised and what she actually delivered after signing that high-paying deal. It's baffling why she's even doing interviews right now. She's in Phoenix, where she wanted to be. She got everything she was clearly angling for, and people who dislike Indiana love her for it. Phoenix Mercury fans are cheering her on. Rival fans are applauding her for pulling one over on the Fever. And Indiana fans, they're outraged, and rightfully so. They feel betrayed, and they have every reason to be. Bonner was supposed to be a veteran leader. Instead, she averaged a measly 7.1 points per game, threw up wild shots, and jogged around the court like she couldn't be bothered. This wasn't someone struggling to adjust. This was a player mailing it in, waiting for the moment she could make her exit. She only started 3 of the 9 games she even bothered to play. Her 3.8 rebounds and 1.6 assists per game were pitiful bench player numbers at best. For someone who was supposed to bring veteran leadership and stability, she was practically invisible. Let's be clear, the real victims in this are the fans and the organization. Bonner's acting like she was wronged, but in reality, she quit. She wasn't injured. She wasn't ill. There was no legitimate personal crisis. She just didn't want to be there anymore. Despite her lackluster performance, Fever fans remained patient. They gave her the benefit of the doubt. They hoped she would bounce back. But instead of using that support as motivation, Bonner decided she didn't care enough to try. She stopped putting in effort. The Fever's front office built their salary cap and roster structure around her playing a key role, and she repaid them by disappearing. It was a manipulative move, sending the wrong message to every other player in the league. Don't like your situation? Just stop trying until you get your way. Here's what really makes Fever fans furious. The moment Bonner suited up in a Phoenix Mercury jersey, she suddenly looked like a completely different player. In just her second game with Phoenix, she dropped 22 points and 11 rebounds, like flipping a switch. That's not coincidence. That's proof she had the energy and ability all along. She just chose not to use it in Indiana. You can't act like it's about systems or rhythm. This was calculated. This was sandbagging, plain and simple. She had it in her the whole time but saved it for Phoenix so she could play alongside her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas. The dramatic spike in her performance isn't just suspicious, it's damning. Even the most casual fans can see what happened. Her strong showing in Phoenix was a silent confession. She could have performed in Indiana. She just didn't want to. And let's be real, Chloe, by the Fever's 7-day contract player, came in and instantly contributed more than DeWanna Bonner ever did. First game, 2 threes. Meanwhile, Bonner's debut against a weak Chicago Sky team, we had to jump through hoops just to get her to score at all and break her milestone. When you compare her stats from Indiana to Phoenix, it's like comparing two entirely different athletes. That's what happens when someone finally decides to put in the effort after coasting for months. It's nothing short of manipulation, taking advantage of a professional platform and playing games with people's trust, while the ones who believed in you get left behind. What's most outrageous is how Bonner is now trying to act like she gave Indiana her best. She's pretending she didn't shortchange the franchise and disrespect the fan base. Phoenix fans are cheering like she just overcame a slump, completely overlooking the fact that they're benefiting from someone else's betrayal. This goes beyond one player. It sets a dangerous precedent, one where players can dodge responsibility without consequences. What makes it even more painful is remembering how she first arrived in Indiana full of enthusiasm. She spoke highly of the fans, praised the atmosphere, and expressed excitement about mentoring young stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. She didn't complain. She didn't hint at unhappiness. She smiled for the cameras, gave glowing interviews, and acted like she was all in. I have no problem coming off the bench. I've never been that player. I don't feel like I have that reputation. Those were her words. Fair enough, she's won 6th Woman of the Year before, but clearly, that's not what she envisioned. In Indiana, she expected to start, lead, and dominate. But when she underperformed and Lexi Hull took her spot, she mentally checked out. Truthfully, Lexi Hull should have been starting from the beginning. Bonner shouldn't have been in the starting lineup to begin with. That's a fact. And yet, Bonner once said she'd never played in front of fans like Indiana's before. She genuinely seemed touched by the overwhelming support, the sold-out crowds, and the loyalty from Fever fans. They bought her jersey, they defended her, they reposted her highlights. They called her the glue, and they truly hoped she'd be the mentor and leader she claimed she wanted to be. To find out now that she may have been plotting her exit all along, it feels like an emotional scam. The fans gave their all, but her loyalty was never real. And honestly, maybe Indiana's playing style just didn't suit her. The Fever revolve around Caitlin Clark's fast-paced defense, pushing the tempo, quick movement, and up-tempo execution. At 37, that might not fit Bonner's strengths anymore. But even if the fit wasn't perfect, this wasn't some mutual parting of ways. This was a veteran who took advantage of trust, enjoyed the perks, and bounced when it suited her. That's why fans aren't letting this go. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about deception, accountability, in the sense that they were conned by someone who promised more than she ever intended to give.